Hi, my name is DeRay Freeman, and I'm going to give you a few takeaways from my research on how put options can be profitable to investors. So first off, a put option is the right to sell, not obligation, an asset at a certain price within a certain time frame. Now that price is actually called a strike price, and it's agreed upon both parties, the buyer and the seller. So let me briefly talk about how each side can make some money. So for the buyer side, let's just say the stock price is set at $50. Let's say the strike price is set at $100. Now, the buyer, he wants to have a bearish assumption. It means the stock price is going to go down. The stock price goes down. That difference between the stock price and the strike price, wherever it is by expiration, will determine how much profit the buyer would then receive. Now, as for the seller side, let's say that it's actually opposite. So if the stock price was set at 50 for the seller, and the strike price is still at 100, the seller actually wants this stock price to go up. If the stock price does go up, the seller then won't be obligated to sell the asset or the security to the buyer, and then it can just reap all its benefit. But the most amount of money that the seller can make is the premium that was paid by the buyer in the beginning of the contract. As soon as the buyer enters into the contract, the buyer must pay that put premium, and that's the most amount of money that the buyer can lose. So if the buyer decides not to exercise, then it will just lose that premium, and the seller will gain the premium. Now, if the buyer does exercise, whatever that difference is between the strike price and the stock price, times the amount of shares, that's the amount of money that the buyer will then profit. Now, a trick with the seller is if the stock price goes down, benefiting the buyer, because it is a zero sums game where one person gains, the other person loses. But if the contract is actually benefiting the buyer, the seller can go try to purchase the asset at that lower price, and then come back into another put option contract and try to sell at a higher price. We'll just re-monitor the market, whether the stock price will go up or down. So that's basically it with put options. And so the main takeaway from the put option, I'll say, is most important that the investor really thinks about how the market will perform and come up with strategies and other alternatives just in case it faces a loss.